Hey, folks. Good evening. Welcome to another edition of Let 'em Run, our one horse wonders here once again tonight. Looking at the late pick 5 at Gulfstream Park on Saturday, May 17th. I'm here again, once again, without my buddy Sean Miller, who is traveling in Europe, covering what he does best, covering soccer. The man knows quite a bit about soccer, one of the best soccer handicappers in the country. Mr. Sean, hope you're having a good time out there. But we're going to go on and give you a little signature Sean move right here as we talk about some pretty good action coming up here on Saturday, May 17th at Gulfstream Park. In addition, the second leg of the Jewel, that is the Triple Crown. There won't be no Triple Crown winner. As we know, unfortunately, I shouldn't say unfortunately, there's going to be a lot of discussion about, some of the things that happened and why Sovereignty did not take a chance and run again in the Triple Crown, the second leg of the Triple Crown anyway. That's going to be debated for quite a while, certainly to discuss what they've been discussing, which is if the Triple Crown should be spread out instead of having 2 weeks after the Kentucky Derby where horses run their eyeballs out. And I think that's what happened. There are 3 entrants in the Preakness being run at Pimlico on Saturday that previously did run in the Derby. 3 entrants. We'll be discussing that a little bit further on our podcast on Saturday when we take a closer look at all these races that we're going to discuss today with our one horse wonder picks in each race of the late pick 5 at Gulfstream Park. And on Saturday, after the scratches, we'll be again live at 12:30, looking at each of the individual races when they break down with the scratches and any jockey changes, anything like that. But for right now, let's dive into the late pick 5 at Gulfstream Park for Saturday, May 17th. We're going to cover one horse in each leg of the late pick 5, which starts with race 7. Interesting. It's at 4:03 Eastern Standard Time. It's supposed to be very clear, sunny, fast and firm down there in Gulfstream Park this Saturday. So I'm not anticipating any changes in that situation. But we got a mile and 16th on turf and obstacle claiming 25K, non-winners of 1. There's some good horses in this race. I'm taking a look at the number 9. This is my one horse wonder pick for this race. The number 9, Smiling Ellie, stuck on the AE list right now. All the horse needs is one scratch to get into the race, and I'm hoping that happens. Currently, the morning line for this horse, number 9, Smiling Ellie, is 5-2. The jockey change to Morelos is a pretty big change. The extra distance in the plus. Last race, it ran in a mile. Ran a really big race. Came in second in the last race. Was a key race with one of our horses that we picked a couple weeks ago. Do Gooder won the race easily. That's a very good horse that this horse, the number 9 horse, Smiling Ellie, came in second against. Some key races are more key than others. This key race is a key race that is more key than others. Let's talk about keys. Big key race where the horse won next time out. Well, that horse, Do Gooder, won next time out in a big way. And this horse came right behind that horse, getting a little extra distance, which I think is key, and the style fits. So in that race, race 7, I really like that horse, Smiling Ellie. I hope the horse gets in. All it needs is one scratch. If it doesn't get in, if the 9 horse Smiling Ellie does not get in to this race, race 7 on Saturday at Gulfstream Park, we'll take a look at a couple of the other horses that are running in that race on Saturday at 12:30. We'll be airing again to cover more in depth these races in this late pick 5 at Gulfstream Park. The 8th race, 4:37 Eastern Standard Time, going to the synthetic. Mile and synthetic, mile and an eighth on this, mile and 16th on the synthetic, excuse me. Claiming $8,000 race, non-winners of 2 lifetime. Again, lower level race, to me, it's a real head scratcher. And if a race comes back to me as a head scratcher, I'm looking for a price. And that's exactly what I did, looking as my one horse wonder in this race, the number 5, Bonmonte. I'm going to take a swing with this gal in this filly and mare race, getting in light with the relatively new apprentice, Luis Fuenmayor, going back to synthetic. If this horse gets a clean break, I think this jockey, who's an apprentice, has been pretty close, ran 12, has raced 12 times at Gulfstream Park, hasn't won yet. And if Luis wins this race, be prepared to get doused with water and baby powder and honey and all kinds of feathers and crazy stuff. And I wish you the best of luck, Luis. I hope you win this race. It's interesting, 8-1. So the jockey knows how to run good races. Came in third, like I said, ran 12 times so far at Gulfstream Park. Came in second 3 times, came in third 3 times, so pretty close. I think this is the chance for this horse to get home for this jockey. Being trained by Jose Castro, very good numbers, maybe low numbers in terms of the pool, that is being used for this. But, we're talking like, 67% off a layoff, 40% synthetic, 40% routes, 33% in claim. And this trainer has got some pull. So we're going to see what happens. But I'm going to take a shot in a race like this, $8,000 claiming race at an 8-1 shot. But again, this is our one horse wonders. So we're going to take a look in that race at the number 5, Bonmonte, and hopefully gets a clean break. And if she does, got a good chance to go to the front, hold on, and maybe wire this field for a nice price. So that's our pick in that race. So we're going to move on right now to the 9th race at Gulfstream Park. We're going back to a little sprint. Last week at Gulfstream Park in the late pick 5, they had the first race in the late pick 5 was a 5 furlong sprint stakes race. The last pick 5 was a 5 furlong sprint race where we picked 4 to 5 winners in those races in our picks. Some of them were chalk. That's cool. There was a good price horse that came in and paid $11.36. So in another sprint stakes race, 75K, the Roar race, it's a nice little stakes sprint race. I'm looking at a horse that probably got the most experience in this race based on some of the other horses. Has a good lifetime turf record, has some good breeding. So that says yes, please. The buyer speed figure 2 back for Rolando, a 90 buyer speed figure would fit tremendously in this race. Horse has never raced on turf. Is that a little bit of a minus? Perhaps. Breeding, the turf breeding is good. And again, it's a maiden. It's a stakes race where anything can happen. It's a 5 furlong race. Anything can happen. I like Reyes, the jockey on this horse. He's changing the Reyes for Fausto Gutierrez. So again, and not a big price, but 7-2. I'm going to take a swing with this horse, Rolando. So keep an eye on that horse in this race. We'll talk again more about all these races come Saturday at 12:30 when the scratches come out. If there's any changes we have to make, we'll take a look at that. So we're going to move on to the 10th race. To me, this is a very interesting race. It's a mile. It's a 1-turn mile, which is all the miles at Gulfstream Park are 1 turn. Optional claiming 62K. Look at some of these horses in this race. There's some big name horses that used to be good. Newgrange, Grandmo the First, a couple other horses in this race. Big Data, Hades. You look at their previous experience in races they've run. They've run in some good races. I fell on the horse, which I can't believe the horse came out at 9-2. For those of you who follow Let'emRun, when I handicap these races, I do them without the odds. So I don't know what the odds are when I'm putting these out as my one horse wonders. And even for on Saturday, of course, by then we know not just the morning line, but obviously as time goes on, what the post time odds are going to be, but I don't know what the odds are. And I thought this race had lots of good horses in it. I thought the number 3, Grand Mo the First, was the best horse in the race by far in this kind of race, who ran previously in some serious races. I mean, grade 3 Virginia Derby, grade 1 Kentucky Derby, grade 1 Florida Derby, ran against Deterministic, ran against Mystic Dan, ran against Forever Young. It's been raced very well. So again, what happened? Took some time off, working out really well for the return. Victor Barboza, one of the best trainers down at Gulfstream Park, is putting his horse in a race where I think the horse has a big shot at 9-2. Turf to dirt, a big number for Victor Barboza. He hits at 31% going from turf to dirt. The last time out, this horse, Grand Mo the First, ran on dirt, getting Lasix for the first time. Another big plus for this horse. So at 9-2, Louis Reyes getting on this horse for the first time, knows how to ride well for Victor Barboza. So I really like this horse a lot. And if you look at, again, at all the horses in this race, they've all raced in some pretty big races in the past. So this is, I call this a return to glory for one of these horses, whoever's going to win. And I'm looking at Grand Mo the First to be in first on Saturday in race 10 at Gulfstream Park. 1 mile, 1-turn race. So we'll take a look at that race also a little bit closer on Saturday when all the scratches come out. We'll make some adjustments if they're needed. The last race in this race, race 11, is the final leg of the Pick 5. I hope you're alive when you get to this, using some of the horses we'll be talking about on Saturday. I think in the sequence, this is possibly the most wide open race. Okay. It's another stakes race, 75K stakes race for 3-year-olds and upward. It's 1 mile and 16th on the turf. What I find kind of really interesting in this race is Safi Joseph Jr., one of the elite trainers, not only down in Gulfstream Park anymore, but in many of the venues and tracks around the country. He has 4 horses entered in the body of the race. None of them are on the AE list, meaning they need a scratch to get in. They're all in this race. 4 entrants by Safi Joseph Jr., one of the elite trainers down there. Well, I did fall on one of his horses, and I think this horse might be the best of the entrants. It's the number 3 horse, Brumar. I like this horse quite a bit. 3 for 4 at Gulfstream Park. Runs really well at the distance. One of the reasons I really am intrigued by this horse and like this horse a lot, 2 races back on turf at Kentucky Downs, this horse raced against a really good turf horse, Carson's Run, who's won some big-time stake races in Woodbine, raced in the Breeders' Cup. A great horse, still looking to make some big-time strides in some of the races that Carson's Run will be entered in. He raced really well with this horse, Carson's Run, at the Nashville Derby. Again, at Kentucky Downs, a tricky course, as anybody who looks at any races down there in Kentucky Downs knows it's a tricky track. Ran well against him, came in 4th, had the lead for a while. Then they had that weird, tricky turn, if you watch the replays, where it goes kind of uphill. But, Carson's Run is a great horse. And this horse getting one of my new favorite jockeys, who keep an eye on this horse, Francesco Arrieta down there in Gulfstream Park. Safi Joseph Jr. and Arrieta are going to pair up a lot to win a lot of races as the meet goes on. So keep an eye on those two. Obviously, we know all about Safi Joseph Jr., but this jockey, Francesco Arrieta, getting a lot of mounts for not just Safi Joseph Jr., but other trainers as well. He's riding this horse. Safi Joseph Jr. is getting this horse ready off a layoff. This is a little step down in class for this horse. I think he's going to run a big race. It's his 2nd race off a layoff. He's also the number 1 prime power, which, as you know, if you follow Let'emRun and you follow me on Let'emRun, you know that I put a lot of faith into Brisnet for lots of things. Their speed rating, whether it's an E, which I'm going to talk a little bit about in the next race we'll cover, which is the Preakness. They have those 4 ratings: E, EP, S, presser. They stand for early pace, presser, early presser, and a stalker. Anybody who gets that E rating likes to be in the front, wants to lead, is a need to lead kind of horse. And I look at this race and I think this race, even though it's wide open, I really like the number 3 of Brumar for that reason. It's got some closing speed, but not really a need to lead type. But the main reason I like him in terms of the Brisnet is the power rating, number 1 prime power. So that's what I'm going to follow on that race. So we'll keep an eye on that late pick 5 at Gulfstream Park after the scratches on Saturday. So tune in again Saturday, our podcast on Capital Sports Network, where we will break the races down further after the scratches come out. Don't think there's going to be any changes to the track conditions down there in Gulfstream Park on Saturday because the conditions there look fast and firm, dry, no rain expected. Okay, let's take a minute and talk about the big race coming up on Saturday, the Pimlico, the Preakness, where there's 9 horses entered. 3 of the horses, again, have come out of the Derby. Journalism came out of the Derby, obviously. River Thames came out of the Derby. And, I'm sorry, my bad. Sandman came out of the Derby. Journalism came out of the Derby, and so did American Promise. So there's 3 horses that came out of the Derby. Historically, I'm not saying it can't happen. Those horses very rarely win the Preakness in terms of historically, if you look back. I am falling on a horse that I really like a lot. It's a young horse. It's only raced twice. This is his 3rd time racing. Took a little time. I'm sorry. He's 3rd off a layoff. He's raced 3 times, but this is his 3rd race off a layoff. He's got a triple Beyer speed figure. The only other horse who has a triple Beyer speed figure is Journalism, who's got a 108, a 102, and a 100 in his last 3 races. Clearly, Journalism is going to be the favorite, the deserved favorite, but not so sure the freshness that he might be lacking is going to help him. And that's why I fell on the number 8, Clever Again, being ridden by Jose Ortiz, who's been on him all 3 times. I think he's going to know how to dole this horse's speed out. Don't get me wrong. There's other speed in the race, but I think Jose Ortiz has a good feel for this horse in terms of making sure he's up in front because, again, historically, not front runners, but horses in the top 4 or 5 levels or 5 lengths of the lead typically win. Horses that come from deep closures have not typically run very well or won in the Preakness. I don't know what the track conditions are going to be like. That's another issue we may have to cover on Saturday. But the reality is this horse, Clever Again, is only one of 2 horses who have something, again, I put my faith in, the E rating in terms of early pace. There's other speed horses in the race. But again, when we look at the Beyer E figure, the only other horse who has a Beyer E figure, Brisnet E figure for early pace is the number 3 American Promise. And I don't think this horse has nearly the class or the speed of the 8 Clever Again with Jose Ortiz on him. Nick Juarez, good jockey, riding for, D. Wayne Lucas, the unbelievably long-term best there is, Hall of Famer, D. Wayne Lucas. One of the best interviews I saw last year. When D. Wayne Lucas won the Preakness last year, I can't remember who the announcer was who was interviewing D. Wayne Lucas. I said, D. Wayne, you won several Preaknesses. And D. Wayne interrupted and said, I've won 6. That was before he won again with Seize the Gray. So that was a pretty classic moment when D. Wayne Lucas shows he's as sharp as a tack. So can't obviously push that horse aside. But again, I'm leaning on a horse that's fresh, hasn't run a lot of races, definitely has some upside. So I'm looking very, very strongly at the 8-horse Clever Again with Jose Ortiz riding for him. So those are the horses that are in our stable, if you will, for our 1-horse wonders for the late pick 5 on Saturday at Gulfstream Park. Follow us on X. Follow us on our Capital Sports Network to watch the live podcast that's coming on Saturday at 12:30. We'll break all these races down a little further, and Let 'em Run will give you some insight into the races that you won't get anywhere else. So good luck. We've been hot. We've been looking good. I look forward to seeing you all on Saturday at 12:30. So once again, good luck to you. Appreciate you watching, and look forward to seeing you guys on talking to you guys on Saturday at 12:30. So remember, Let 'em Run. Good luck.